Hello everyone. We have a game with the white pieces against Nicholas 256, rated 1661. Let's see if we get a Jobava London on the board, or if we get to play e4 instead. Okay, so he stops c4, so we go for bishop f4, controlling the diagonal. He brings out his bishop, which we're gonna hit with f3. You've seen us do this before. And now he goes to h5, which also encourages our g4. So let's do that. He has to go back. And now let's just play h4, threatening to trap the bishop. He has to move his h-pawn. So he does. I'm still going to gain the extra space for free. He's going to go back. And now I'm just going to play e3. And we're just going to transpose into, um, you know, as if we had played e3 first and then f3. So now let's develop our bishop and look at the center, challenge his most active piece. He'll likely take, and we get to develop our queen. 3 pieces out. He hits us with c5. This all makes a lot of sense. Maybe he wants to push. Maybe he wants to take. I wonder about this move. Knight b5, now that he moved his c-pawn. Because he's a little tender here. If he intermezzos, I always have a check. He gets a piece, I get a queen. He gets a queen, I get a pawn. So he can actually sack his queen there. So if I go here and he intermezzos my queen, I'll just move my queen somewhere, and then maybe knight a6. That's a way to play. We could try to do that. If we go here and he gives us this check, this check, our knight's defended, we can go, well, if we go c3, again he hits our queen. Hmm. Okay, so let's just take first. He can never push now, so he never has any intermezzos on our queen. It does develop his bishop, but I think that's okay, because once we go here now, he can never throw that pawn in. So he can go back and we get this check in. My door dasher is messaging me. So let's go here now. Because he hasn't developed this knight, he can't really protect this square in a good way. So he hits the knight, but that doesn't what? That's weird. Am I missing something? I don't think so. Yeah, that's just an exchange. So that's weird because this guy's 1700 and he was playing a lot of Jabava London theory, c5 and everything. And now he does this, which he moves his king and loses the rook. So that's weird. I wonder what that was about. So he moves his knight so he can pick up our knight. We could just bring it back here since it's a protected square and try not to lose the piece. That makes sense. Now he tries to disconnect our minor pieces so he can gain the piece. That makes sense. The downside is it undefends this pawn, so let's try to use that by taking the pawn with one of the attacked pieces. Check. He takes back. I guess we just take the piece and centralize our queen. He takes this piece. Now we could recapture. We'll be up 4 points of material. We could just long castle, but then bishop takes, and that's an awkward construction to let him have. So I'm just going to go with getting rid of this pawn so he can't connect the bishop and make a weird construction. That's annoying for me. I do want a long castle, and I do want to get rooks here. I want to develop my knight, of course. Okay, so we're up 4 points of material. Now we long castle. He's going to castle by hand. But that gave us the time we need to pick up this knight if he does. So now he's in a tight spot. If you have to leave the king here for defense, you just have the game's over. Right? Because I'm going to get a rook here too. So he gives us this check to pick up the pawn, but we want our king on b1 anyway. So this does us a favor. We don't care about that pawn. We only took so he didn't have that construction. It wasn't to be up another pawn. So we don't care about that double pawn. We're going to develop now with tempo, right? And now we get the rook over, and this all happened so quickly because he decided to grab the pawn. And so you can see the consequences of that, of pins, and the way they tie pieces down. And even if you don't ever win anything, you get to choose when to release the pin and go do something else. Okay, so he moves the bishop out of the attack to a somewhat safe square. I think now is a great time to bring in our last piece, and look how harmonious our position looks. So he moves the knight away so that it's no longer under the attack, and he can move the king. This also attacks our queen twice. There's lots of moves here, but I do want to somehow, I wonder if I can utilize this alignment by moving my knight somewhere. I guess this is a pretty natural square, although this is interesting. I can also move the queen out of the way with check and try to win his queen. Is that a thing? That's not a check. That's a check, but then he'll move his king and counter. Oh no, if we take the queen, his rook is pinned to the king. He can't move it. So if we give this check, and he goes here, we just take here. That's a good one. So I guess that wins the queen. The other check, he can kind of block. There might be knight discoveries that are good, but this is good enough. It wins the queen, so let's just do this. It looks like this saves him, but it doesn't once you realize the rook is pinned. And he just resigns. Let's get an analysis board. Poor guy. And that's what happens when you get destroyed down an open center. So we just have standard stuff. We bring the knight out and try to play e4. He stops us, so we just develop a piece in center. He goes here, so you can't play e3 obviously because your queen hangs. If you play your knight out, he'll probably take it and double your pawns one way or another. So play f3 and try to punish him. I mean, it's not like you win or anything, but it's an attempt at saying, hey, this is misplaced. So we have center for free, gaining space for free, gaining space for free because of the threat, gaining space for free, center and development, development and center, force move, development and center, prepares castles. Okay, yeah, so you were supposed to play knight b5 immediately. You do have to calculate the lines, but it seems like you're ahead with knight b5. But we take in the center, also fine. That relieves all the pressure. It also opens up the d file for when we long castle for our heavies. And right now it's just an even game. White's going to castle, develop his knight to the center, and he just has a nice playable position. Black is solid as well. So now we throw in knight b5, trying to force knight a6 and just keep that construction for a while. But he doesn't do it, and he immediately blunders and plays a6, which hangs the fork, so it makes no sense. So he's forced to move the king, we pick up free stuff, and then we escape. And then it's +5. We escape with this piece, might as well take a pawn since they're both attacked. Do it with check. That way we get our queen in the center. Very powerful piece, just staring at everything. He takes the bishop. We take the pawn. It's +4. King safety and development, +5. Force move. Development and center for free. Development and center for free. I mean, a forcing sequence that wins the queen, so good enough. The one thing I want to see is here, what's the line? Knight b5. So if he queen checks you, okay, I didn't look at b4. Okay, so b4, if the queen takes, it's still with check, so you still have to respond. Now you play c3, it hits the queen. He's going to go back here, and then you throw in the fork. So when you go here, if he takes with the pawn, you still throw in the fork. This is awkward. Super awkward. But even with our one inaccuracy, which was, taking here instead of going knight b5, I mean, both options are playable. We still got a nice 94%er. So pretty solid game. And we didn't do anything crazy. We did the usual, harass the bishop. And this guy just blundered a simple tactic at 1700, so I guess we're just lucky. So hopefully this helps. Good luck in your chess. I'll see you in the next video.